Hello, hello, hello guys, Tanya here back with another speed build. Today's speed build is really special. It's the first in the Sahara's Design Off series that I'm launching with a bunch of collaborators. They are Ali Pixels, Blathies, Joe Crossing, Lunar Libby, and Tiny Libraries, all of whom have amazing YouTube or Twitch channels, so do check them out. And the idea is that every 2 weeks we'll have a challenge and we all have to design areas based on it. No one is a winner. We just all want to kind of just show you the different ways that we work and design, and you can also participate. So just tag any photos with hashtag ACNH design off. If you also DM me either on Twitter or Instagram your photos, I can feature them in my summary video at the very end. So this week's challenge is beach camping. So I didn't really know what to do with it in the beginning. I was like umming and ahhing around it. But then finally I was rereading The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe and found a little passage where it's just before Asan goes to the stone table for the little sacrificial mission. And they talk about encamping near the fords of Baruna, like waiting for the White Witch. So Azan knows she's not coming, but the rest of them do, so they're all kind of prepared for battle. So I created this little story, the scene, where some of it's camping, some of it's like very battle ready. You'll see some warriors, you'll see some kind of like weaponry, and then they're also eating and chilling out on the beach, like waiting for the big battle. So yeah, this is the little scene I came up with. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, and let's get going with the build. So this is the blank area I started with. I had a ton of flowers. It was basically just like flower offshoots near the back. And what I wanted to do was create this foresty field behind the beach. So that's just to create extra depth and illusion, because sometimes the beaches can feel a little bit flat. And that's part of why we decided on a beach theme in the beginning, is to have that extra challenge without terraforming. So I had a strict rule for myself, no terraforming, but I kind of bent it a little bit by adding extra space with this greenery behind the beach. So here I am just planting a ton of trees, some smaller, some bigger ones, a whole range of varieties as well, some hardwood, cedar, and bamboo trees, just really creating like a lush foresty feeling. And I like having variance in the size of trees as well, just to add more depth. This one here, you'll see I ended up placing 2 trees like too much in front of each other, so I do end up moving that later on. And you'll see my process behind here. I just dump a ton of items that I think I might want to use for this build behind, and kind of go and pick up things as I progress. So yeah, it's not a pretty process. So here I am taking down this bigger cedar tree in front of the hardwood tree, just moving it a slight inch across so they're more diagonal. In general, I feel that diagonal lines, like designing with diagonal lines in this game, helps create more dimension, whereas if everything is in a straight line where it's not like an area that's intentionally so, it can just look a little bit flat. So with that forest kind of in place, I started with the little dining area up front. I have seen amazing inspiration of people doing like beach, kind of like boho beach brunches, with rugs and different like tables and different items all around. So I wanted to create my version of that. And I really love this rug pattern. It's like, it uses 1 extra slot compared to the normal rugs, which is kind of annoying, but I just think it looks so authentic. Like it feels like a really beautiful kind of, I want to say Persian rug. I might be wrong. Please let me know if that's culturally inaccurate. But I just think it's really beautiful. And then adding these little tassels. And then I wanted to play around with the different, like with a log bench up here, and yeah, and just placing that on the rug over here. I thought two side by side would be enough space. I've seen people do longer ones, which create this sense of like a really grand meal. But just with a limited space, I just wanted to stick with two. And then started placing the items on top of the tables that would form part of the dinner. I wanted them all to feel very natural and authentic, so things you really could potentially find in this kind of setting. So yeah, put down some of these skillets with a bit of food on it. You know, you could have cooked that over a fire. Put a little candle. You'll see later on I ended up changing that. And then a fruit basket. I didn't like how that height, the kind of, it was tall on the side and then flat in the middle, so I mixed that up and put the fruit basket in the middle, and then the skillet over here. So I just think that looks a little bit more visually interesting. So with that done, then I started putting down the different cushions and seating arrangements. I wanted them all to feel very varied. I've seen people do it with like tons of different cushion designs, but because I have limited space, I just have like 2 different rug designs. So I varied it up by using some stone stools, different types of cushions, so the plain cushion as well as the Zen cushion. This one I actually just customized with the tassels, which I think does look pretty cute. And then I also ended up using a log stool later on as well. So yeah, I think that just adds enough variance without it looking like busy, and getting away with mostly using the same codes. So yeah, just trying not to place the same item like parallel, directly opposite to each other. Again, for more variance and visual interest. Yeah, so that's pretty much the dining setup. And then over the course of this video, I'll be placing different little figures on some of the Zen cushions, just to imagine that they're taking part in the meal. And then I put this marketplace decoration. This is the item you get if you link your account to Pocket Camp. I think it's really cool. I've never used it before because I didn't have a space for it, but I thought it kind of looked like the banners or standards you'd have during battle to kind of signify which side, which side you're part of. And I thought the colors looked really beautiful, like red and yellow are kind of royal lion-y colors, kind of like Aslan colors, so I thought that worked pretty well. And then put a little hearth here for cooking and a lantern for a bit of light. And then, yeah, just to say, I didn't have a very fixed idea of what I was doing in this build. Normally I would spend a bit more time planning out because of the time pressure, and I wanted to get this out early to give you guys some time to build your own. I do skip around quite a bit on the different areas, just trying to figure out where I want to put things. So just putting down some campfires, some more light. I have mentioned in previous speed builds that I really want to make sure that areas look nice during night time. So having different sources of light really help that, but also I think the bonfires just help create this kind of ready for battle feeling. Right, next I wanted to have a little area for horses. I thought about building like a proper horse barn like I did in my rustic farm area. If you haven't seen that speed build, I'll link it up above. But I felt that looked a bit too permanent, like because this is a temporary war camp, it shouldn't really have very fixed permanent structures. So I thought I'd just use this little rodeo horse instead. This is a really cute item that is a seasonal item. It's to do with a Brazilian festival. I'm not going to attempt to say it because I'll get it wrong. And then I just placed a little bush in front because I like to hide the springy bit at certain angles, just so it looks a little bit more realistic. And that's something that I'll do quite a bit in this speed build, is try to do a little bit of illusion work. I'm by no means great at illusion. There's a ton of really amazing creators for that, but just doing what I can. And then placing this stall customized with the wood pattern to create a kind of temporary barn feel. So it doesn't look like a very solid structure, but some sort of like shield for the horses to keep them safe. So yeah, just one on each side, and so they look a little cozy there. And then I went back to the right side of the beach and started putting down just a little bit of custom designs. I just wanted to start adding in that element to add a bit more life to the beach. And yeah, I think custom codes are just a great way to add, like, yeah, just some extra detail to your designs. So this little stone and leaf design is like super versatile. I use it like pretty much across my whole island. But yeah, and then I added that little statue there. I think he looks really cute, like he's like a tiny little warrior. And then also placed a garden gnome. So, you know, because it's Narnia, there are fighters from all walks of life and all species and, you know, creatures. So I just wanted to mix those up a little bit. I placed a little garden gnome by the camp cook fire. Maybe he's tending to that little pot, which I thought was cute. And then I wanted to place this cavalier shirt here. I then ended up putting it on instead, which is a classic thing that happens to me whenever I try to place like a clothing item. But I thought this matched really well with the banners. It was like it was the right colors. And I kind of wanted to hide it a little bit so that it looked like there was a soldier just like in waiting, you know, like a bit camouflage. He's like, maybe he's the lookout, or she, you know, whichever, is the little lookout. And I liked how the tree covered the top and the bush covered the bottom. So you don't totally know it's just a mannequin. And then placed a little warrior over there. I placed one here as well, but I ended up moving it. You'll see in the final design, just because I thought they looked a little bit out of place. So yeah, just swiveling around. I find swiveling really difficult for some bizarre reason. But yeah, placing that guy there. And then I wanted to add a little bit more to the dining area, just put a little picture. So, you know, keeping all the warriors hydrated and well nourished. I then put the camp stove up here, but I felt the height was too off compared to everything else. So I ended up removing a ton of stuff from the right side of the dining area and then placing the camp stove on the table instead. And then I just had to put everything back. So, you know, you'll have seen this process before, a bit of deja vu for you. So yeah, just placing that cushion and then the other cushion. And then finally the pile of cushions over here. I love how villagers just come and hang out when you're building stuff. It's like they're intrigued at what you're doing. I think it's really sweet. This actually ended up being a super popular area while I was building. They just kept popping in and out, which was lovely. And then placed that pile of Zen cushions back, and then kept trying to put something in this little divot, but yeah, kept moving instead. And just wanted to put a little bit of light over there. Yeah. And then with that done, I then went back up here, placed a katana here, again another piece of weaponry. I thought this pirate ship cannon looked super cool here, almost like it was aimed at the opening in case any intruders were to come, you know, like the wolf that serves the White Queen, the White Witch. And then this gnome at the ready. He's got cannon watch tonight. And then I wanted to place a little nutcracker over here, so I just had to remove the campfire to make space for me to do so. And then place that fire back. And then with that, I then ended up spending a bit of time placing some custom designs. Here's when I moved the warrior. I wanted to create a little bit about the path. And because this is kind of a temporary encampment, I didn't want it to feel too structured and like, you know, it was a full set area. But I thought a mini path just to the opening of the tent would be nice. And it could just be like after people have trampled in that area a lot, it just created a natural pathway in a way. Okay, and then I decided to run around a little bit and place this guy back. Yeah, just still doesn't look right there, but you know, fiddling around with that. And then wanted to add a little bit more into this corner over here. And again, more of this rock leaf design. I never know how far on the beach you can place things. Yeah, for that one, because it was directly in line with the stone leaf design up top, I wanted to move it. And then placing more of them. Right, and then back up here, I decided to place a stone lion dog. You know, obviously that's Aslan. And I quite like that he was next to that little soldier that I put there. I imagine that guy to actually be Peter, the High King of Narnia, obviously, who is in charge of the battle after Aslan leaves. So it's almost like they're having their little discussion at that point, and put a log stick in front of Aslan just to hide that pedestal a little bit. Put a little oil lamp just for, again, some more lighting. And then I realized I was a bit naked, so finally put some clothes on. So that's a bit better, isn't it? And then winding back over here, just finishing off the hearth area with a director's chair, so maybe someone can just sit while they're attending to the hearth. There's a little Melba back there. Okay, and then I put this barrel down. And what I wanted to do here was another bit of like light illusion work, placing this helmet really far back and then covering up the barrel so that it kind of looks like, again, like a warrior hiding in the wings. Just needed to find the right placement for it. Yeah. And then, yeah, so I thought hiding it behind the tree would kind of work, so you don't see that the body is actually a barrel. And then I ended up swiveling him around, but I'll do that later. So yeah, I knew I wanted to keep the tree that exact height, so planted a little nursery plant next to it so that it wouldn't grow. And swiveled the helmet around so it looks a bit more natural. You can't see that black mannequin head. And then placed another warrior next to it. Right, and then over on this side, I wanted to add something more to this little corner. So I put a wedding candle set. I like varying up the different types of candles and lights that I use. So this is a nice addition. And then just playing around with the placement a little bit. I think I end up moving it back, actually. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks a bit neater. And then over on this side, I then wanted to put a fishing pole over here. And that's just so, yeah, like maybe they caught the fish just then. And then this fire pit over here. Again, another source of light and fire. And then I started working on some fencing. So I knew I wanted to use two main types of fences, this spiky fence as well as the barbed wire fence. I thought it just was the right kind of atmosphere for this area. And so I placed the spiky fence first, just playing around with the different areas that I wanted it in. Sometimes it's a little bit hidden, but yeah, I think it just adds extra depth to the design, so there's something always kind of to look at, and there aren't like big gaps anywhere. And yeah, and then I thought there was a little bit of a gap here, so planted another tree, this time a bamboo tree, and then just took away that light lamppost which I had from a previous design. And then I wanted to place these little boots just so it seemed like when you go into the tent someone has just taken off their shoes. And yeah, and then over on this side, similarly before getting onto the picnic blanket, that someone's taken off their shoes here as well. I just think those like tiny little shoes are so adorable. It's like the socks are also adorable. Okay, and then back to this little cooking area, I started playing around with a barbed wire fence, placing it here and there. That one I ended up taking away just because I thought it blocked off the area a little bit. But yeah, I find with fences, just playing around with where you think it might work it just takes a bit of time. Stopped to have a little chat with Bo. He's just such an adorable little human being. So yeah. So then over here, placing another little bit of fencing. I then tried to tuck something behind here as well. Right, and then I came back after getting a few more items. I then decided I wanted more sleeping areas because I didn't want the tent to be the only sleeping section. So I decided to clear up this area and place a bunch of places for people to sleep here. I laid down some fencing first. You'll see that this ends up going just because it takes up too much space over there. But in any case, this is the process. So placed that futon down. I think these futons are really, really cute. I like them much more than the sleeping bags. So yeah, that looked too busy to me there. And then also placed a camping cot, just again for some variance. I didn't want it all to be the same item because I think it can look a little bit bland if that's the case. But yeah, wasn't feeling this, so removed that and decided to use up more of the space up on the higher ground. So yeah, moved the futon and then shuffled over the cot, and then yeah, just redoing this area a bit. Placed a fence on the side, futon back down. Yep. And I think that feels like it can breathe a little bit more. And then place some fencing here as well, just to kind of close off that area, because you'll see on the left is my library entrance, and so I just didn't want the two areas to blend in together too much. And then I wanted to place some designs on the ground. Yeah, I had to move some things to do that. But yeah, I like to have some designs peeking out from underneath some items. I think it just adds extra detail and makes it feel like it's more cohesively part of the design, rather than just having custom designs where there are blank spaces and no furniture. Yeah, I think it just all flows together a bit more smoothly that way, which is really my aim with these designs. So yeah. And then again, more custom designs. I started adding some of this little, well, I experimented with a flower. I didn't like that. And then inching through, and went back to kind of Old Faithful with this stone and leaf. I think it's a really good design in that even if you use it quite a lot, it's not that repetitive. Right, and then put this champion's pennant down. Again, I thought it looked like something like War Standards or a banner that you'd use. Thought they looked really cool. Went back here and I wanted to add a source of light and just something behind the fence for more, yeah, just something more to look at. So closed off that fence again. And then back here, I placed some of these rock designs. I thought those worked quite well with the rest of the design. It's a slightly warmer tone, but it's nice to have a bit of variance. So just placing a ton of those down. And again, some more up here. But went for the one with the leaves. And then I went and got some weeds. I love putting down weeds. I just think they're really, really pretty and give a lot of kind of like an area where flowers don't make sense. I think it serves as really nice greenery. So placing them here, everywhere basically. Oh, and then part of why I removed that fence was I realized it like would block off the area. So that seems to come later, but just so you understand the process. Planting some more weeds over there and here. Just that's like a design aesthetic basically. Just weeds. And then wanted to work a little bit on this blank area here by Melba's house. Her house probably won't stay in the final design, but I thought it looked kind of cute next to it, and it almost looked like a little hut you could rig up pretty quick, so I just left it there for now. And I haven't cleared off the area that I want to move her to yet anyways, and it just pains me to move things more times than I need to because I have stopped playing the turnip game, so I'm a little bit strapped for cash. So yeah, anyways, just adding some more custom designs down, and then wanted to work a little bit on this area more to the right. A couple more weeds. And then I wanted to put a custom design underneath the banner, so I had to just move that and then place it back over it. Like that. Hi Melba. Just having a little conversation with the gnome. So cute. And then yeah, just more weeds. That's basically what I should have just like called this video. Weeds. And then place some custom designs under the camp site entrance. Trying to find a good mix between the weeds and the designs and everything. I like using that with the stone and leaf design because the stone and leaf design, even though it's really good, it is still 2D, so having weeds near it adds that element of kind of nature, and it makes it, I think it makes it look a little bit more realistic, personally. So yeah, that one was the same as the one over to the right, so wanted to remove that. And went for this version instead before removing it, and then just planting a weed instead. So this is my thought process, guys. And then adding some designs behind the campsite. If the campsite was occupied, you wouldn't be able to see this, but I just want it to look decent even when it's not occupied, so yeah, that's why that happened. And then wanted to put some designs underneath the cannon, again just a bit like a touch of detail underneath, and then placing it back. And then trying to find the right spot for it. And then, yeah, ended up removing that bit of fencing there. Then tried to play around with what fencing I wanted in front of Melba's house. I tried the barbed wire, don't think that worked. Yeah, no, doesn't work. Replaced it with the spiky one. Also doesn't work. Yeah, and then ended up settling for log stakes.
Start your computations.
And there we have it. So then the last bit was just filling in this empty space in front of her house. I thought it could be a cute area to just add a little bit more detail. Something back here, and removing that bike, which is from my previous island design. And put just a little bit of lighting instead. When I finally find it.
I think we're getting into a weird area here.
And put that little futon there. So yeah, so that is the design, guys. I have to admit, I totally time traveled just to get someone in my campsite. It was actually Genji, but I couldn't take him because I don't have anywhere for him. But anyway, so here's how it looks. This is a little cooking area, and then the dining area, which I think just looks really lively. I love how filled out this campsite looks with the camper in there, and the banner off to the side. I particularly love this little cannon vignette with the gnome. I think, yeah, he's just ready to fire if anyone were to intrude on the Narnians. And then back here, this little horse stable where you can kind of see them, but they're tucked away a little bit, and there's like different types of warriors guarding them with the stone, the warrior statue and the nutcracker. And this little soldier back here talking to Aslan. Again, another soldier over there. And the helmet hidden behind. And yeah, just like bountiful food for all of them so that they're ready to take on the White Witch and her cronies. A bit of seating. Yeah, that's a really high chair. And then, yeah, just a little spot near Melba's, a little solitary camping right next to hers. cute. And yeah, so that's pretty much the design, guys. I hope you liked this speed build. It's different from what I had planned for this island, but I really like the addition, and I hope this inspires you to try out a little beach camping session. The design off closes on Friday, so please, if you're interested in participating, post your pictures, videos, design, whatever. By then, send them to me if you want to be featured in the video. And happy designing, guys. If you would like this video, please comment down below on how you want your beach camping setup to look like the video, subscribe, etc. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.